Hey, yo, you, y'all, what up, what up, what up? Yo, 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 yo. I usually I don't do lives usually I don't do lives this late. Excuse me, y'all. Um, yeah, I normally don't. But tonight it's just kind of different. Trying to get my audio to sound right. I was going to experiment with a different with a different Bluetooth for tonight. Let me see something. Okay, I think I sound slightly better. Um, yeah, this one is definitely a late night live stream. Not sure if I'll get any traction tonight. That's fine. The replay, it'll speak for itself. Yeah, the replay will speak for itself. But just want to talk to y'all overall. My thing is that there's been a lot to say in regards to what these mothers haven't been telling folk about game. And like I've said before, the game is really her game. The game is really her game, you know. But also keeping in mind is that I'm gonna add more to this topic for tonight about this game. Now, you see, I chose a different avatar for tonight. I chose a different avatar for tonight. Of course, you see my name is still up on the screen. Pretty straightforward. But what's different tonight is the fact that I'm using I'm using the 80/20 rule for my avatar for tonight. This would be sort of my way of displaying going forward, until I sometimes can do live streams from a larger device. I'll just use these type of avatars to really kind of convey my points and sort of do like a micro static display for y'all. But yeah, keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. Um, so I've been having a few conversations with people, and they sort of talk to me about how you got to move out here in these spaces. People will talk to me about this, and I take a lot of what they say. I take it in, but guess what? I shit a lot of it out. You know, keep that in mind. I take in a lot of what people will be saying, but at the same time, I shit a lot of it out. So no different with this 80/20 rule that your mama didn't tell you. Take a lot of it in, but shit a lot of it out. Here's the thing. You got the 80/20 rule, but does the 80/20 rule? Okay? Keep that in mind. Does it really rule? Just because it's a rule, does it really rule? And of course, I've done live streams about this before, stating that it's really backwards. It's not what people think it is. And I'm not really going to be talking about the 80/20 rule tonight, but this is a game, right? And games have rules. Games do have rules, right? And a person that don't follow the rules, they break the rules, they're cheaters. So there you go. There's no other way of putting that. But here's what I wanted to add to what I have to say tonight, because this was sort of another request someone wanted me to bring up about this topic. A lot of people actually requested me to kind of follow up with this. But here's the thing. Now, the game, what mothers won't tell you about game. But what if I were to tell you that the game is for your mom to never tell you? Keep that in mind. The game is for your mom to never tell you. So, fellas and ladies, the game is for your mom to never tell you, but especially with the fellas. With the ladies, see, here's the thing. If you're trying to be righteous, you're trying to be a real woman, not a typical female, well, here's the thing. The only way you're going to learn about the game is if you try to be part of it. So obviously your mom will never tell you about it. You see? And that's good because you don't want to be part of the game, right? But hindsight, you'll never really know about the game either. But just don't be naive. Just learn how to peep game. That's all you need to do. Okay, ladies? Keep that in mind, ladies. Okay? But yeah, in order to be part of the game, it's going to require you putting your game face on. So your mom didn't want you to know about this stuff. She didn't want you to know about this life. So getting back to the fellas, see, the game is for your mom to never tell you for a lot of different reasons. Well, maybe she didn't want you to go down the same path that she did, so she didn't want to tell you about that path. The game, right? But a lot of times, guys they're born to be white knights. So there could be this thing where your mom, she didn't tell you things because really, really, when it's all said and done, you're the product of the guy that she slept with. So she kind of sees it as punishment that you don't know about the game because of the fact that she got played by your father. Keep that in mind. But I wanted to address this whole pretty privilege thing because shout out to King Ref. He did a live stream talking about this, and I've been hearing this online quite a bit. But this is also part of the game that your mom didn't want to tell you, especially for you ladies. The fact that we talk about this sexual market value, right? The way that she looks, and the fact that if you look at the 80-20 rule, from what I've been told, right, about all the majority of the females going after a minority of guys. But now let's put this to the test in regards to this pretty privilege. Let's put the pretty privilege to the test. And if I sound a little sluggish, pardon me. It's late at night, but I wanted to still talk to y'all. So bear with me. I'll get through this. I won't be long. I promise you. But here's my thing, okay? Uh, they say about 50% of the feminine gender is, I guess, obese, and the other 50% aren't, okay? But here's the catch. It still ties in with the 80-20 rule, right? Based on what they say. So you mean to tell me 50% of the chicks that are not obese versus 50% of the chicks that are obese, they still represent the 80% of the feminine gender that are going after 20% of the guys, allegedly. So that means out of that pool, wow, you put 50 and 50 together and you try to subtract from that based on the 20% of the gals that aren't going after the 20% of guys, allegedly. That's a small number of minority of chicks that a guy could actually run into her. A guy can run into her and she actually likes him for him. That's a very small number. So no wonder why it seems these days that for a guy to get an ideal chick, he's not going to get that because she's going after something that really doesn't exist. But like I've said before in my previous live stream, it's not what people think. It's not that 80% of the chicks are going after 20% of the guys, okay? Because they get around these 20% guys and they realize these guys don't really want them, okay? Because they're not up to standard. A guy that is rare wants something that is rare, if you ask me. But it seems what's rare these days is something that's more ordinary, okay? Someone that's not trying to be part of the herd of the 80%, okay? That's what it's all about. So what's going on really is that 80% of the feminine gender are going after 80% of the masculine gender. There's been an outbreak of this occurring. We're still seeing the baby rates climbing, soaring, despite the fact that there is a pandemic. Okay? So that's part of the game. The game is for your mom to never tell you that you can actually go about having a family. You can actually go about getting some type of chick that you always wanted, but you got to act like everybody else to get that happening. You want a chick that looks a certain way, bro, you're going to have to act a certain way to get her, like a majority of folks do out here. You're going to have to think worldly. You're going to have to carry yourself a certain way. You're going to have a certain car. You're going to have to listen to a certain type of music. You're going to have a certain type of clothes you wear. You're going to have to talk like you're an alpha male. Did I just say that? You're going to have to act like you're a sigma male. Did I just say that? Yeah, you're going to have to be like this stereotype, these lone wolf stereotypes. You're going to have to really kind of be what the normal society expects you to be to get a certain type of a chick. Okay? You're going to have to be like everybody else. You can't be yourself. You can't be unique. No one wants that. See, the game is for your mom not to tell you, because you're going to find out the hard way. How you think you end up finding things out the hard way? That's because you learn about what the game really was about in this life. That's how you find things out the hard way, because she didn't want to tell you that. Okay? And like I've said in my upload, my podcast upload that I did the other day, like your father, he's still learning about the game himself. And that's why he always just tells you you got to pull things up by the bootstrap, because he's still trying to learn things himself. Now, I've always said, and like I've said in that podcast upload, you don't try to understand the game. You don't even try to learn about the game. You just learn how to peep game. You learn how to sense it. You basically learn when someone is trying to run game on you. When someone is trying to run game on you, you see how they move. You peep how they move. If they're not trying to move with you, they're moving against you or they're moving away from you. You want someone that's going to move with you. You even want someone that's going to even move for you, before you, meaning they support you. They're there for everybody else, but they're not there for you. Okay. So that's some of the ways you peep game. You peep their game. And it still ties in with this 80-20 in many ways. Think about your mom. Think about, has she's always been there for you? Has she been against you? Has she been away from you? Okay. We all got these stories about our mom, especially the ones that moved away from us. We have these stories, but it was part of her game that she never wanted to tell you and that she's never going to tell you. Some of us have mothers that have done some very grave and grisly things. I won't talk about that here, but we got stories like this, okay? So that's kind of, in many ways, what I wanted to talk about in this live stream. Not just what mothers won't say about game, but it's really more so now that the game is for your mom not to tell you, okay? So on one hand, as I said earlier, she could have just been bad, and she don't want you to go down this. She don't want you to go down that same road. So that's why she's not trying to tell you about the game. But on the other hand, she could also be still held to certain vices and just don't want to let you in on what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Put you on to some game, as they say. So you can kind of know what's going on out here. So you can peep game better, even though you're not trying to understand the game. Your mom could have at least been thoughtful to make sure that you are aware of what's going on out here so that you don't get caught up in the mix, so that you don't get lost in the sauce. 1 second, y'all. All right, I'm back. Now it could get slightly noisy, not too much. I'm trying to isolate everything as much as I possibly can. I'm by a railroad track and the train gets kind of loud, but I'm doing what I can to make sure y'all can still hear me. Okay, for those in the clouds and even those listening to this on the replay. Just 14 minutes in. I don't think this live stream going to be too long. I've pretty much have kind of talked about as much as I needed to cover for this subject, but that's what it ultimately comes down to. The game is for your mom not to tell you, whether she's an octane or a diesel. Keep that in mind. And I'm going to go over these pump grades eventually, because there's a lot more to this. There's definitely a lot more to this. And we're going to talk about this because guys have a certain gradient to themselves too. Not necessarily based on the gas pump though. It's a little opposite of the gas pump gradient, you know, with chicks being octanes or diesels. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that down the road, just letting y'all know I'm aware. I peep the game that folk talk about out here. Okay. But as I wanted to continue to say, I'm trying to think of something else because I really have no examples to talk about the game and what your mom didn't want to tell you. I brought that up in my previous upload. Just check that out in my playlist podcast from yours truly. But here it's just me really stating now what's the ultimate of all that. The game is for your mom not to tell you. Okay. See, the thing is that your mom can still be running game on you right now, and you don't know it. You're trying to be so benevolent, you're trying to be so codependent, or you're just trying to be so thoughtful about her, so concerned about her. But she's running game on you right now. She knows more about the system than you do, but she's using you to get things done. See, the thing is, I like what Dick Gregory said, because he said, I believe in the scripture, honor your mother and your father. But see, your mother and your father should be honorable in many ways. And I get that. Now I'm still forgiving to where my mother might not be that honorable, but I'm still going to honor her. But obviously, I'm not going to put up with her dishonoring me, okay? So there's that aspect. I'll still forgive her, but there are some things that I'm not going to put up with in regards to disrespect or dishonor. You know, I believe in that. I believe that you have to remain level headed, and anybody trying to get you off a certain level, that's like getting you beheaded. That's like definitely getting you beheaded. Okay. And you don't want that. You don't want that at all. Okay. So I'm trying to think of something else because I'm trying to give y'all at least some things, I guess some examples as to why your mother would be, why she would be telling you things or not wanting to tell you things about the game. Okay. Okay. Now I could think of this. I could think of this. Okay. Um, you might have it to where, fellas, you might have it to where you know a chick and you know back in your blue pill days you wanted your mom to talk to the chick because you and your chick probably had a little fallout and you wanted to work things out with her. So you was like, man, I'm gonna get my mom's in on it, try to talk to this chick and see if I could get something to work out. Now, see your mom, she gonna talk to the chick, come back to you and tell you you just need to move on. Like straight up flat out, you just need to move on. That's the sound of a mother that knows about the game very well. Okay. Because that's her answer. Okay. Because your mom once was that way herself. And in many ways, she still is. How come your mother couldn't just tell you, I did talk to her and I don't approve of her behavior and you deserve someone else better than her? How come your mother could not have told you that? How come she has to just flat out tell you that you got to move on? Because that's what your mother would tell her ex-boyfriends at the time herself if she didn't like the guy no more. That's the game that your mama didn't want to tell you. Okay. Your mom didn't tell you or doesn't want to tell you about how she got her food stamps, how she got her light bill paid, how she got that nice car when you were growing up. Okay. She didn't want to tell you about um, why she was going out so late at night all the time. She don't want to tell you that. She don't want to tell you that she was probably one of the prettiest girls in her school, but she was getting ran through every other night. And that's how you ended up with your half brother or your half sister. She didn't want to tell you that. She's not going to tell you that about that side of her life because she don't want you to look down upon her as a bad mother. But you know what? They say that your actions can't hide, but guess what? things that are deep down inside of you can't hide either, because it's going to show in your behavior towards your children. No matter how much you try to hide it, you could be good to your kids as much as you can, but if you haven't been a good mother, it's going to show in your behavior one way or another, because kids want to know more about their parents or get closer to their parents. And when there's a slight disconnect or a distance, kids going to peep that game, and they're going to say, something's not right about mommy. That's what they're going to say, okay? But this is still part of what she would never tell her kids, even as they get older and they get more inquisitive and possibly apprehensive to always be around their mother, because they know their mother was secretive and still is. Think about this. Think about this. How she is still getting money from a man she's no longer with. How are her light bills still being paid? She didn't tell her kids about how she got her ex-husband, who is still their father. She was able to bamboozle his finances through court. So now she gets a little pension money from the court case that she won because of the spousal support allegedly, or the rearage of child support. She was able to win out on those things. But this is all part of the game that the mother will never tell you. Like, even learning about the law, right? You see so many guys getting pulled over and arrested, all because they don't know the law. Okay? Learn this law. And I'm not telling y'all from the standpoint of sounding like a sellout or something. I'm saying this so you'll know what's going on. You can peep game. They have books. You can actually pass a bar. You can actually pass a bar exam whenever you want to, and end up going to law school off rip. They need a lot of lawyers right now. That's a side note. Okay, so but this is something that your mom didn't want to tell you about the judicials. She knows the law herself. How do you think your mother was able to get by getting all those guys locked up, even your father? She got your uncle and your cousin locked up too. Okay. She got your homeboy locked up. She knew how to rat. We know these stories. I don't need to go into detail. I don't know nobody like this personally, but I've heard of all these different accounts of these mothers doing these things, how they were able to set their own sons up. Okay. She knew the law, the game, that type of game. Oh yeah, there was a mother that just shot up a son down in Oklahoma. Okay, some stuff that these a lot of females are able to get away with shooting guys these days. They're able to get away with it. It's crazy because they know certain rights within the law about the firearm and things like that. Okay, but that's a side note. I don't want to get too deep in that detail, but this is all part of the game. The game is for her not to tell you. And you don't know how deep she is into the game. There's different levels to the game, right? You don't know how deep and what level of the game she's on. She'll never tell you that. Fellas, she'll never tell you that. Ladies, she'll never tell you that. But ladies, guess what? If she's peeping that you can be on a certain level like her or even deeper, you're going to know. Now, let's get back to this 80-20 rule. The first part of the game. This is easy. Your mother is jealous of the way you look, sweetie. She knows that you look better than her. Ladies, y'all mamas know that y'all got the looks better than them. Okay? And she's jealous of that. So she's going to do everything she can to show up and show out to your boyfriend when he comes over, because she's kind of got an eye for your boyfriend too. Okay? And if she can, she'll take your boyfriend from you. Okay? Because she still want to feel like she got it like that. I brought you into this world, as they would probably say. I can make you, and I can break you. You got the blueprint from me, girl. When they say you get that from your mama, you got that from your mama. That's game. That's really game, though. Now, a lot of it is part of an illusion. That's a side note. Ladies, don't let your mom get into your head about the fact that you are her carbon copy or your blueprint or her blueprint. Don't let her get into your head about you being her carbon copy. No, you have the DNA of your mother and your father. Okay? It's not just your mother. You have the DNA of your mother and your father. Okay? So, but see, part of the game that she'll never tell you is that you actually have a father. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. Kind of laughed and did a hiccup at the same time. Where did that come from? But like I said, it's late at night, and I just wanted to talk to y'all for a little bit. I ain't gonna be on here too long. It's 25 minutes. I'll probably be on here for 5 more minutes. I just want to chop it up with y'all. I'm gonna have to probably edit this hiccup out though. That much. But I still see people coming in and out. So much love to those that are stopping by. You know, even if you don't say hi directly in the chat, just thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. I'm just lightly talking about a lot of this stuff that mothers don't talk about in regards to game, and it gets real deep. It gets real deep. Okay, you got to remember, your mama also had a friend, a lady friend. They hung out all the time. You know, those girls that hang out all the time. We grew up around the mama that always had that female friend. What she's not going to tell you is that they are very close, closer than close. Long before this rainbow movement, and nothing against the rainbow community, nothing against the rainbow people. I'm just saying, mothers not being honest with their kids. How come you can't tell your kids that you're not straight anymore? How come you can't tell your kids that? Why you got to hide that? You probably get more respect from your kids if you told them the truth, because they were expecting the father. They weren't expecting another woman in the situation, another female. My bad, because I do the female woman logic at this channel. That's just another female. And your mom, guess what, y'all? She's a female at that moment. She's not a woman. No. She was a woman to a man. She's no longer a woman to a man. In my opinion, it takes a man for her to be a woman, because she's the womb of a man. She was once a woman in a man's life, but now she's not. She's just a female that has another female with her. You see? But see, this was the secret. You didn't know that. You thought that was just your mom's best friend and they hung out all the time. Well, that's because your mom, she hung out with her, all right. There's a lot we can say about this. There's a whole lot we can say about this. There's a reason why, like, your mom could still be playing games long until she died. Your mom could be that wicked. Why you think your mom still around? She could be a certain age, still around, still know how to screw people out of their money for their life insurance. Someone could have passed away, but she found the way to bamboozle the money from the family because she knew about certain game. She might not know how to write. She might be very illiterate, but she knows the law book and she knows how to use it to her advantage because the law book has a lot of loopholes in it, unfortunately. And I really hate to say used to her advantage. She just took advantage of the law. Let's say that. But in many ways, the law actually takes advantage of itself, and that's how it takes advantage of the people. Why? Because the law is always changing. They always got to change the law all the time, add these new amendments and new bill of rights. There's always something changing in the law. They change something in the ordinance all the time. So actually take the law actually takes advantage of itself all the time if you think about it. It's very unfortunate, but that's kind of the way it is. And that's kind of the way the game is. The game is always modifying, right? It's just like and here's the thing. If I was really on that game talk, not that I am, but I would tell a lot of dudes, a lot of y'all are outdated. You outdated. You're more outdated than the latest iPhone. Okay, if you're not up to par with the latest model iPhone, you outdated, bro. No, that was last model. You talking like the last model iPhone, bro. We on the new model. You talking like the old model iPhone. Your game is outdated. You got to be on that new all the time. You got to be on that new when you talk, when you spit. You got to know about TikTok. You got to know about OnlyFans. You got to know about how chicks like to get around to get bags, what clubs they like to go to, what type of car they prefer a guy to drive. You know, even where they like to go eat. You take a chick to Applebee's, you bound to have her not talk to you again. You got chicks that prefer that Cheesecake Factory, part of that game. Okay, see, that's another thing. The game is for your mom not to tell you. So why am I telling y'all this? I'm actually not telling y'all anything about the game. I'm just letting y'all. I'm letting y'all know that some of these things your mom will never tell you, like the game itself. She won't tell you that. Okay, she won't tell you that she oftentimes came home early because she turned down a guy who was actually just trying to treat her out. She knew that he knew that she was a single mother. Now he wasn't aware that he was simping at the time, but the thing is that as a single mother, he was doing too much. I'm not bashing single mothers. I'm not bashing single mothers, but guys do too much for most single mothers that aren't doing anything for them. Okay, there's no reciprocation. There should be reciprocation. If there's not, brother, get out that situation. Simple as that. And she should be making it easier on you because those kids are not yours. But if she wants those kids around you, she's going to make sure those kids see you as a role model versus just a stepfather, which is a healthier situation because you don't want kids attached to a situation that could go left any day. You want kids to just see you as your mom's friend, and the fact that you keep her happy all the time. The fact that their mom's happy is going to keep them happy about the situation. And that's the most important thing. So I don't get it when a lot of chicks be out here expecting a guy to be a stepfather. See, now that's them trying to make their own game because see, uh, you might have it to where she's been around a certain man that was a certain way to her mom, so she wants that to also be applicable in her situation. But see, that's not like the real game. The real game is that, sweetie, your mom probably did not care that man that was, I guess, called your stepfather was like a stepfather to you. She just needed a pawn to raise her kids that she spawned. You might see it as a noble thing. Well, I had a stepfather, so there's nothing wrong with that. No, your mom didn't see it that way. See, but she's not going to tell you that. That's all game. So that's why I tell ladies, if you meet a guy and you got kids already, don't try to throw that stepfather stuff on the man. He's going to run away. All you need to do is make sure that he's the type that's going to keep you happy. And I really don't like to say the word happy because it's not about necessarily being happy, but let's just say putting a smile on your face, having that crooked smile, like J. Cole said. You know, you've had a frown on your face, but now you're having a smile uh, because he put a smile on your face, and the kids see that. The kids they feed off the love. They see that mom's having a smile on her face because of a man that's having her see things different in life. Kids are drawn to that stuff. Doesn't matter if that man's the biological father or not. So, ladies, you have to keep that space, in that capacity. No games. Okay. He doesn't want that stepfather role, but he doesn't mind being around you and the kids just so y'all could, he can see that this can be a good environment. They can see that a man actually wants to have you uh, feel more positive about yourself and about life and about men in general. Okay, the kids can see that, and I think that's really like the way ladies need to do with things. Have that guy be a role model in those kids' life, not necessarily a stepfather. Let's get away from all that because we've seen what that has done. It has just become game. That's all it's done. Now, I don't know, my numbers kind of went down with people in the clouds, but that's because I'm probably touching upon a touchy topic with the whole single mothers thing and the stepfather thing. A lot of people ain't ready for that conversation. It could be guys that don't like the conversation, but it could be gals that don't like the conversation either, because of the fact that I tell guys don't come across as actually wanting that label of being a stepfather, you know. But yeah, because it just creates another game. Okay, it creates another game. Now, some people might say, she might say, and I won't stay too long on the subject about the single mothers and the stepfather situation, but she might say, no, it's not game. Sweetie, I'm not saying you're running the game. You may be not running the game, okay, but you're still part of it. Okay, you're still part of it. So just don't put that on him. So if you're getting child support from another guy who's no longer in the picture, but you want another guy to fill that void of a father that the kids don't have, that's still you being part of the game because you're still attached to the other guy in a legal binding way. That's why a lot of villages around the world, what they do when the party that had the kids are no longer together, the family of that father keeps the kids so she can go on to the next man and start a new batch of kids. That's the natural way you're supposed to do it as a woman. If you want to go on and be with another guy, you have to leave them kids behind with the man that you had the kids with. But see, no one wants to do that in this society. Everyone wants to what? Run the game of keeping the kids. These females want to keep the kids for the collateral reasons. But now you're getting it to be to where now some of these chicks, they run game because of the fact that they know the system about it's my body, my rights, my choice. They now getting it to where if they have a guy that's an NFL player as their boyfriend, they're making it to where if they got a problem with him, no matter how much money he makes, guess what? He's not going to be able to see me give birth to his child. I won't allow it because she knows that it's her body, her choice based on the system. She's going to use that part of the rule book of the game. Okay. But see, this is all based on what? Going back to that 80-20 rule. If we're talking about this, like I said, it's not about these chicks going after the top 20%. It's about 80% of the chicks going after actually the 80% of guys. They can't really get the rare guy that they seek, that they so desire and so expect. Even though she thinks she's more than average, she's still average at best. I don't care how amazing she thinks she looks. She's still like the rest of them. She's still like the rest of the herd. Okay? She's still like the rest of the herd in many ways. Because what guys want? Guys don't want a bitch. Yes, I'm going to just say it. I don't care. Guys don't want a bitch. They don't want a female in heat. A lot of these females that aren't women out here are just females. They're just another bitch in heat in many ways. And the way their attitude is. I see it out here in these YouTube spaces all the time. I've had to deal with a lot of this stuff personally. You know, just chicks not having the right disposition because they want the average kind of guy. They want the 80% of guys out there. They want that certain type of swag and alpha playerism type of way. That's average. That alpha is average to me. To someone like yours truly, that alpha is average to me. Okay. That's all average. That's just the average ranking scale for the bitch in heat. Of course, she's going to want the top dog to hump her. Yes, of course, she's going to want the top dog to hump her. Okay. The bitch in heat wants the top alpha dog. But see, that's still within that norm of the herd of society, within that rule of the game. You're just getting the top player. That's all you're doing. It's nothing, you know. Um, but like I said, what you get out of that, fellas and ladies, to the real woman, not the typical females, you'll get someone of that type of female that she's just really bitchy with her demeanor and her behavior. And that's a lot of our moms. A lot of our moms came off like that. They thought they were the dime, but she was just a dime of a dozen. There are many like you out there, sweetie. I don't care that you're a dime. You're a dime of a dozen. You know, that's all. How about being a dime in? Okay. But these chicks, they want to be a dime of a dozen to die for. That simpery is very bad. She wants to be a dime of a dozen to die for. See? Hopefully the train is not too loud in the background. But hey, what's good? I got someone in the building. Hey, what's good, fam? Hey, I finally paid you back, fam. Yeah, I know the last time I didn't do a late night drop, so I'm doing one tonight. Yeah. But I just got off work, man. Decided I'll chop up with this because I was like, I had this on my mind, and I'm like, I'll just drop this off to y'all. No notes, no script, just off the rip. But yeah, this whole thing, if we want to wrap all this up, let's talk more about this YouTube. You get a lot of these older females that aren't women in men's lives. And if they consider themselves a woman in a man's life, well, that guy is not a man, he's a male. So she's not a woman, she's a woman. So you have a lot of females and women out here in these spaces. What? They get on people's panels, they talk, they talk about the men that they have in their life, the men or the males, okay? But it's still all game. These older ones, right? Even some of these younger ones that want to be part of the game. That, oh, the mom gonna tell them. But she won't tell her other daughter who don't want anything to do with the game because they all jealous of her because she has a natural beauty. Okay, let's get back to that. We talk about that sexual market value. A lot of these chicks wants to use their beauty for currency, part of that pretty privilege. They think they got one up on the game because of their beauty, but they are sadly mistaken. You go to Mexico, you go to very patriarchal places around the world where your beauty is not enough. Your beauty will still have you in a cornfield skinned alive in certain parts of the world. I kid you not. And I don't mean to sound graphic, but it's like that because some chicks will try to use their beauty to take advantage of a certain guy, and that guy is not having it. In certain places of the world, they are merciless. They have no rules because it's not about games over there, okay? And they'll deal with people like that accordingly because they feel like you're not going to lead me on to something that I can't get out of the situation with you. I thought this beauty was going to be for me to very much cherish and have around, but you try to play with me. So now I'm going to play with your life. So that's how it is in certain parts of the world where, like I said, it ain't no games in certain parts of the world. And people want to think it's games out here. They want to talk games, okay? Say that in other parts of the world. Certain parts of very patriarchal places in other parts of the world, even third world countries where there's what? No rules. Say it there. Say it there. Talk all that game talk there with you know, some of these playerisms or even some of these chicks that think they could use their beauty to their advantage to get over on guys. Like I said, there's been plenty of females in the other parts of the world who you would be considering very beautiful, but they were ruthlessly executed. No hesitation because beauty is not the standard in other parts of the world that deal with reality more than a lot of westernized countries do. Hey, what's good, King Ref? What's good, fam? What's good? Hey, I saw part of your pretty privilege, man. I've been checking that out. And I've been kind of diving more into this because it seems now, people trying to bring the beauty talks into this place. Even now, we're dealing with a pandemic and people want to bring up beauty. But see, part of this game that the game is for your mom not to tell you is how she be taking advantage of folks with her beauty. For some, they don't get that far at all. All it takes is one motorcycle wreck to change her whole facial feature. Just saying, the night that she chose to think that she was above the rules of the game that she was playing on everybody else using her beauty. You see? Are you working on the upload? Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to check you out, fam. I'm gonna have to check you out, Mr. O. For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. There's so much that I want to bring to the table of this topic though. Trying to think of one more thing that I could drop off for y'all. Uh I guess just keep this in mind. This famous statement, right? This famous statement is she's gonna take some of that stuff to the grave. There you go. So it ties right in with what I've been saying about the game is for your mom not to tell you. And then on top of that, the name of this live stream, what mothers won't say about game. A lot of stuff she's gonna take to the grave with her. You'll never know. We'll never know. So that's what they be saying. Like when they be saying that in your family, when some people take stuff to the grave, well, your mama gonna take a lot of stuff to the grave too, unfortunately. And I don't want to sound like the bearer of bad news. I don't want to sound like a pallbearer. But all I know is that this is like reality. Okay, reality. But in other parts of the world, a typical female like that who thinks they could take stuff to the grave, well, those same type of females actually get buried alive in other parts of the world. So it goes back to that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you said what, ref? You said third world women got different game than first world women. Oh yeah, and then you said they just stay on code. Yeah, of course, for sure. Especially because they know if they get caught slipping, especially with certain games they play, hey man, it's gonna be it's like I said, it's gonna be ruthless. So they have to kind of watch how they move. They got to watch how they move. If they gonna play a certain game in other parts of the third world, they got to definitely be careful because if somebody catch them slipping, that's it. Now, I keep in mind there are certain parts of the third world that are about games. Okay. But the last time I checked, that's where you get a lot of these civil wars or what they call civil unrest taking place. You got factions, you got different countries and freedom fighters, um, paratroopers. You got all this going on over there, fighting for decades. Why? Because of all the games that have been going on for many years, centuries, decades of families that could talk about, well, this tribe, well, this woman did this, and we found out about it, and then it became an all-out war once we realized she was plotting against our whole family. So we had to pretty much decimate their whole family. Like it gets like that, and we even see that. Like I've noticed even around these parts of Kansas City, like there's a lot more families trying to shoot each other up lately. Like I'm like, whoa, Kansas City, yeah, it's a lot of families shooting each other up here, but it pales in comparison to other parts of the world where people live like pirates. Okay, straight up. You also said, Ref, you said third world game is being a wife. First world game is Tinder, LMAO. Yeah, and see, that's major. Like the game of being a wife, we could take that to another level too, depending on which country in a certain third world. Because every chick has their reason as to why she wants to be the wife. Like I tell guys, like game is not for men. The game is for women. It's their game. Okay. And I'm not gonna get much into the talks of the blade, but see, sometimes a lot of these chicks try to use the game to get out of the game. Okay, that's a different talk. So I get that type of chick that does want a way out, but she had to find her way out. You get chicks that get caught up in certain lifestyles, like trafficking situations. She almost got stuck in that game. She had to find a way out. Okay, but I won't go there. I won't get too deep in that topic. But see, that's for someone that's trying to be truthful and she doesn't mind telling her story to her kids because she definitely doesn't want her kids to go down that road, but she has nothing to hide. There are some moms that do choose to hide that past about them. They just don't want their kids to know about it for whatever reason, you know. Basically, it could be too traumatic for her to explain to her kids. She would feel embarrassed. She would feel like they would judge her and never want to talk to her again. But mothers, y'all gonna have to get over that. Y'all gonna have to talk to your kids. If your kids love you, it's not gonna change. Actually, it'll bring them closer together to you if you just be honest with them. Um, now, of course, you cannot predict the mind of a child. You might have a child that ends up having malicious intent. But like I said, it depends on how things came to be. Because of the way these kids came into the world based on the choices that you made. So that is something that you'll have to think about if you do decide to be honest with your kids. Just understand that on one hand, it will make your kids get closer to you. But on the other hand, the child could have a certain resentment, but that's only because they have the genes of the person that you had kids with. And that person, obviously, if they had strife with you, guess what? That genetically passes down to your offspring from that situation. Uh, I believe in that. I really believe in that too. Uh, You said, Mr. O, they have no choice but to be submissive. Oh yeah, in certain parts of the third world, it depends though. You have other places where it's the other way around too. Like, but it's just that it's just more ruthless if those type of feminine genders get caught. So there are places where there's no rules, but there's still games being played, but she just has to not get caught up. So it depends. So yeah, you'll have some who have no choice but to be submissive because she doesn't want to have to deal with the consequences. But you also have those who still refuse to go by this place of no rules, or even if there's rules set, she kind of wants to live by her own rules, but she's just hoping that she don't get caught. So she had to pretty much think of a very ingenious way of living overall. But it's based on what she's learned. It's not based on what she already knew, because that's the great saying out there on the streets. It ain't about her knowing anything. She just learned that she went along, and I believe that she learned a lot of things, and that has helped her along the way. to really kind of know how to navigate a certain way out in these streets. She knows not to go down Greystone Avenue. She knows to instead go down um, Brandon Lane. If I'm just making up street names, but yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I went a little longer than I expected, but there's so much that I wanted to break down with this topic. But at the same time, there's really nothing more to say because I think I've pretty much made everything explanatory, self-explanatory. So yeah, just kind of summarize it one more time for y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button for sure. Thanks, Mr. O. Uh, but yeah, the name of the topic of this live stream is based on the upload that I did, and it was just titled "What Mothers Won't Say About Game." But I brought to y'all tonight in this live stream that ultimately it comes down to this: the game is for your mom not to tell you. This is for son as well as daughter. You know, for you, sweetie, and as well as for you, bro. You ladies and gentlemen, your mom is not going to tell you about the game. Not even about her game. It don't matter if it's on the street. It don't matter if it's in a corporate office. It don't matter where. The game is still a game. Okay. Doesn't matter where it's at, but she's not going to tell you about that. Especially why? She's still playing the game. Okay. It's like anybody on the court you playing ball with. Okay. They ain't going to tell you they moves because they still playing. They feel like they still going to have the better jumper. They still feel like they're going to have the better assist, the better dribble, the better buzzer beater. They're not finna tell you they moves. When you want to learn about the game, they ain't gonna tell you they moves. They'll tell you, hey, I had to learn about this. I was just good. I was made for this. You gotta figure out if you made for this. That's the only thing your mom gonna say if she's even gonna say anything like that. Chances are she's not. She's gonna be like, why you coming to me talking like that? What you know about all that? You boy, you're too young to be trying to talk about. You better go in there and do your homework. Or if it's the daughter, she gonna have this kind of a look like this little smirk on her face, like, girl, if you don't stop, kind of like that kind of look. Because now she like her daughter could be in competition with her. See that part. Let me see this here. You said, ref, you said westernized former women are a sad story, fam. Oh, yeah, man. And you also said prostitutes normally tell their story when they get old and going to die soon. So what you're saying is true, Ray. I appreciate that, fam. Yeah, and that's really for the ones that like that actually want to be truthful and honest. The ones that I believe take what they know to the grave are the ones that gonna keep playing the game until they die. Okay, you got some chicks that end up like 80 years old, still gonna play that game until they die, because they know they couldn't live with telling people the truth. Not only can some people handle the truth, some people can't live. They feel like they won't be able to live after telling people the truth, after telling people the atrocious things they have done to get to where they are. They couldn't tell people these things. They will have a heart attack. They will have to get the ambulance called on them if they have to tell people some of the things they have done. Some of the things they did behind the family members' back. Okay. They couldn't live with that. They couldn't live with telling you how they really got that degree, how she went into the dean's office and the dean blessed her, if you know what I'm talking about. How she got away with that speeding ticket. She couldn't live with telling you that. She couldn't live with telling you that you had an extra brother, but she found the way to, she had to give the child up. You had an extra sister. She gave the child up. You find out you had this doppelganger, but that wasn't your doppelganger. That was actually your twin. You didn't even know you had a twin. I don't know. I'm not trying to bash my mom. Maybe I got a twin Ray. Maybe there's another Ray out there. I got a twin. That would be kind of dope, actually. But cause I just think I'm dope. I'm dopamine. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool. If we were able to chop it up. You know, hopefully we would be able to do that. But like I said, these stories, your mom ain't gonna tell you that. It'd be too much for her to talk about. So guess what? She plays crazy. She plays crazy. Your mom ain't crazy. Your mama don't really have Alzheimer's. She acting out. Nah, she acting out. That's a game. She ain't gonna tell you what she really did. So now she got to play crazy for the rest of her life. You see what I'm saying? Oh, it gets deep. The rabbit hole gets real deep. But I think I'm gonna stop there, y'all. But hopefully this live made sense to some. Maybe this live did not make sense to others, but to the others that this live made sense to, make sure you hit that like button, especially for those listening to this on the replay. I know I did this live stream late. I don't know, but hopefully hopefully you got your popcorn, nachos, hot dogs, and soda, despite how late it was. I know this was a late night type of a thing. I normally don't go this late, but I just happened to get off work and I had this on my mind. And for those who are here for the first time, if you like my content, whether it's the uploads or the live streams you've checked out, just know that there's definitely more in store. I've been busy, but I've still been putting out content, and I got a lot for you to check out at my channel if you go into my playlist. So make sure that you subscribe, share this live, as well as my other playlists. Go into my archives. You'll see that I have a catalog there. Now, also for those on the replay for sure, you'll look in the description section. You'll see the different channels that I have. Okay? You'll see the different channels. Subscribe to those channels and the other platforms that I'm on. I'm on IG. Check me out on IG. Follow me. If you want to tip yours truly, that's also in the description section for those listening to this on the replay. If you ever want to reach me, you can reach me by email. But yeah, you can also reach me via IG if you follow me on IG. Also, make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you get my uploads in real time. And Ref, I had to resubscribe to your channel. I don't know why I be doing that. It'll like I'll press subscribe, then it'll make it seem like I unsubscribe. I have to keep resubscribing. So I say that to say that could be at my channel too. I've been seeing an influx of my subscription numbers. Maybe I don't know why it's a glitch. You'll subscribe to my channel, but then a few days later you come back and it's like you unsubscribe, but you never did. But just keep just keep subscribing. But make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you get my uploads in real time once again. And just know no matter what it looks like out there, it's only getting better from here. And it only will get better from here. No matter what it looks like out there, y'all. And I got another drop for y'all, another live stream. I'm restructuring this channel a lot. I just want to get back more into like my upper echelon style of live streams where I just kind of talk about a lot of things on a different level, and things that I talk about are not what everybody else is talking about. I don't want to be part of the normal conversations out here. And I'll say this, I publicly disassociate myself with the black sector of YouTube. I've never been a part of it, but now I publicly disassociate myself from it. Now, people that know me from around the way, much love to y'all for sure. That'll never change. But I just don't want to see myself involved in it. Like whatever is considered black sector, that's not me. I'm not part of no sector, actually. I'm not part of no black sector, not part of no white sector. I'm just yours truly. I've realized I've been living up to who I really am out here, even in these YouTube spaces. This true idea of what a lone wolf is, even though I don't like to really say that I'm a lone wolf anymore, but I actually live that way. And y'all seeing it for yourselves before your very eyes. Like um me just having a certain team, a clique or conglomerate, that that hasn't really been something that has lasted for a long time. And I obviously have always supported everything I put my heart into. That'll never change. And even for the people that I have affiliated myself with in the past, I have nothing but good to say about them. I wish everybody nothing but the best. But I truly am the the wolf of a loner type of a guy, but I'm not alone. I know that for a fact. I got a lot of y'all. Y'all part of my wolf pack. Everybody that's subscribed to this channel, I consider y'all part of my wolf pack, my family. I love every one of y'all, man. Much love to all of y'all. So until next time, I got some more live streams, some more content. I do this for y'all At one point, I was like, yo, I'm going to upload for me because I like to listen to me. I like to hear me. You know, I know the creator speaks through me, but I know at the same time, it resonates with a lot of y'all. So I do this for y'all now. Okay. I do these uploads. I think about y'all, and I want to try to be as much of a blessing to y'all as y'all have been to me, just even wanting to take out the time to even listen to me. I appreciate that so much, and that's why I keep coming back here for y'all. Until next time, signing out. Much love, and thanks for stopping by.